Ricky Coogan, Brat Pack Sleazebag. Elijah C. Scuggs, Freak Show Tycoon, an amateur bioengineer.
I can look at a guy like Kevin Costner and see a giant peach grub.
When fate brought them together, Mr. Scuggs took an average Hollywood slime ball and made something out of him.
Oh, God! This was my good side!
20th Century Fox presents Freaked. It's about friendship.
I thought I told you to shut up!
Loyalty.
I say we kill him.
Life's big questions.
How many feminists does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Oh, show business.
The public does not want to see disgusting, depraved, violent filth.
And I suppose Jake and the Fat Man was just a fluke.
It's about state-of-the-art technology. It's about Mr. T's the bearded lady.
I am woman. Now like me.
It's about Bobcat Goldthwait as a sock.
It's the end of the world! The apocalypse! Ah!
It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry.
And it'll make a cold sore that you thought had healed up start bugging you again.
It's the kind of film Brooke Shields has always wanted to do.
Oh.
Introducing Larry Bud Melman as the President of the United States.
What's the matter? Afraid of a little rock stuff?
In Freaked, coming soon to a theater. Freaked, but ugly, but funny.
Welcome to show business, morons!
Welcome to They Called Us a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and podcast services by searching They Called Us a Movie and find us on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. Welcome back to They Called Us a Movie. This is Anthony Davecchio, and with me as always is Dan Aquino and Mark Meyer. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, friends. Hello, everyone. I don't know if you guys have seen those commercials about where it's like people turn into their parents as they get older. One's there, and I just realized there's this week or weekend. I realized there's a couple things I do that is definitely because I am now an older man. So I went to, I think you do this as well, Ant. I went to the movies at like the 8 a.m. showing this weekend. And it was just a bunch of me and guys my age or older just kind of looking at each other and go, are you too? You know, like holding coffees, waiting for the doors to open, the thing going, yes, the only time I can get away. And then I went right from there to the giant supermarket, also filled with a bunch of people. It's just like, yeah, I'm up. All the cool people are still sleeping, but, you know, we are now in our 40s and, you know, it's much more practical to get a lot of this stuff out of the way early in the morning. And I'm not ashamed of it. I quite enjoy making sure I have everything done by like 11 in the morning so I can have the rest of my day. And I feel like that is a very old man thing to aspire to on a weekend.
Good question. I don't know if it's. I mean, I've been a proponent of going to the movies as early as possible for years, if not an entire decade, by yourself. It's the best because I think there was several Star Wars movies that I went to by myself at 8 o'clock in the morning with a cup of coffee in my hand, and the kids don't say shit because they don't care.
Yep. It was my first time doing that, Ant. I was like, Ant says you can always bring a coffee in. So I grabbed one, just walked right by the person. Nobody even scanned my ticket.
Yeah, it's like Thunderdome at 8 o'clock in the morning. They're like,
yeah,
they haven't even set the popcorn machines up yet. And then you're out by 10:30.
Yeah.
And
11 something for Spider-Man because it's like 2.5 hours.
So we were talking offline. I had the day off today, and I thought I had a moment of like, oh, maybe you know what, I'm gonna be out today, and where I'm gonna be is gonna be right next to the movie theater. So maybe I'll, after I'm done what I need to do, I'll go to the movies. And then I saw 2 hours and 23 minutes. I'm like, fuck, that's like. Because I was probably not going to get to I was looking at Showtimes, like the earliest one I'd be able to do would have been like noon. It's like, well, then that's 2:30. Yeah, and that's basically my entire day. You know, that's not early enough for me. So like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll occupy my time elsewhere. So I haven't seen Spider-Man. A long story short,
Yeah,
I don't feel like I feel like I made the right decision.
Oh yeah, I would never
Like
see
I
it.
don't know. I don't know what the Rotten Tomato score is. I'm sure it's a fine film that I will
I,
forget about as soon as I walk out of it.
I really liked it, but it could also be because I have a bias towards Spider-Man. So, but it's not a film you need to rush out and see in theaters either. But I feel like my caveat, these are kind of opposites, but I feel like for the really long movie, I either need it to be the first thing I do in the day or the last thing I do in the day. So either an 8 a.m. or like a 9 p.m. You know, it's sort of like either this is the last thing I do and then I go to bed, or it's the first thing I do when I wake up. Like anything in the middle just feels like, and this goes for anything, not just movies. This is like, you know, running errands or getting my hair cut or something. It's got to be like, all right, it's got to be. I don't want to waste my entire day or make it in the middle of the day, you know, when I could be getting other things done. This one activity.
The key to errands is do as many as you can during the work week.
Yeah.
You got to get a haircut. That's your lunchtime. It's a lunchtime activity. Just go out, get a haircut. You know, it doesn't take whatever doesn't take up your precious free time on the weekend because it is fleeting and we're all going to die soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't want to spend that 30 minutes or, or less in a barber chair on a Saturday afternoon if you don't need to.
Yeah, after anything after 12 noon has to be me time or hanging out with friends or family time. Like,
boss makes $1, I make a dime, right? That's why I shit on company time.
Hell yeah. Me working in an office, it's the only time I can do something like that. Can't sneak out for a haircut.
You can't just say I'm taking a lunch and then go get a haircut?
I could, but I don't know exactly where within any kind of distance. I could definitely guarantee to be back in an hour from where I am in the city. That's a reasonable price.
Now? It's like you could stroll in,
I could probably do it. But true.
How many softball games did you leave early for? Surely people are gonna be like, yeah, you could get a haircut, Mark. It's gonna be fine. This one time.
I just feel it's a me thing. But I only mentioned haircut because it seems like what I mean is a non recreational activity. It's why I put that in that list. I normally get my haircuts during the week anyway, after work, before I even get home. Because once I get home, I don't want to do anything, which is why when I do periodically have gone to the gym recently, it's like right from work. Change at work, go right in.
Yeah, my schedule's changed since the kid was born. So like the movie situation is now I'm going during the week at like 7 p.m. onward. I'll do a Monday 7:00 screening. It's like that's my bread and butter. Yeah. Gym I was going early and now I'm going even earlier, which is the thing.
Yeah.
Because I used to go so I could do it at 7, but he wakes up at 7:30, so I can't possibly do it. So now I'm going for 6.
It's fun. The other fun part is just realizing that I have changed.
Be the judge of that.
Okay, yeah. Haven't done that in a while. That I love to do all this, and yet I can barely get a hold of my sister before noon on the weekends. She's like, oh, I was sleeping. And I'm like, in my head, as I've gotten older, I'm like, I don't know how. And then she complains about, not getting things done. And I'm like, I don't know why you can't put those two things together.
I don't know the last time I've slept till noon. Jeez.
Oh, I don't sleep past 8 or 9 anymore. And that's mostly because Game Vault Cat here thinks I'm dead if I'm not up by 8 a.m. Like in my face, like meowing.
I do have dogs that would revolt if I slept till noon.
Yeah. This is the same thing here. In terms of my cat is petrified that I am not alive if I haven't moved past a certain time. But yeah, we're getting older.
Dan, you got anything to say about this?
No. I'm envious of you guys going to the movies. I can't go anywhere.
Damn.
My kid is a nut job. He's insane. He's literally insane. You've seen him. You know what it's like.
He's a fine boy.
Yeah.
No, he's a toddler, but he cannot be handled by one person. He needs to be tag teamed constantly.
It's a handicap match every day.
Yeah, and he comes out on top every time.
Well, the one always comes out on top, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's
usually
usually
where
where
he goes.
he's a literal baby face. So
Yeah. You gotta learn how to do the hot tag sometimes. To
uh,
get a little bit of time.
Ant made the joke about the company time. My time in the bathroom is like just retreating essentially. It's like
Yeah.
I'm waving the white flag. I'm gonna go to the bathroom for a few minutes. And I could hear him screaming downstairs. And I'm like, I think I'll hang out for another minute or two. Sounds like everything's well in hand down there.
You got to get noise canceling headphones. So out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, it's
Go to the bathroom, noise canceling headphones. It's just
we
your own
got
little world.
we got lucky when he was one. He was on the move, but not nearly as much. So we could pawn him off on a family member a little more easily.
Mm.
Now it's oh boy, yeah, it's like planning D-Day to get someone to watch him, and movie wise, it's taken a hit.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have to pick and choose what we do because weekends are precious to us as well. But now everything is kind of more focused around him. It's like, oh, where can we take him now? So a lot of corner farm or animal sanctuaries because he likes looking at animals. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah. I've always said I understand my privilege. So
You have several
Could be.
privileges. It's
I'm white.
unfair.
So-
Yeah. You're a middle-aged white guy with no kids. It's too much. You have too many
Too much.
privileges. You should give them up. You got to give one up.
Yeah, I get one up.
Adopt
Can
a
I not be
child.
middle aged anymore? Is that one?
Yeah, that'd be a good one to get rid of.
Got to knock up somebody.
Yeah. That's
Just find someone
all-
at this point.
Dan's going to be like those horror stories you hear about mothers-in-laws with me and any lady that I have. Just gonna be like, oh man, you seem to have lost your condoms there, Mark. You gotta.
I dropped my Magnum condom.
Oh man, I guess you gotta take the chance.
No, you got to pull the bank statement. Let the bank statement fall out of your wallet. Oh
Yeah.
my God, you have that much money?
But yeah, I can't. Like I said, I can't imagine. Being in either of your guys' position and also Tom's.
You want to
yeah,
try?
it's not-
It sounds like Dan's looking for babysitters.
I've always said I will. You
Yeah.
guys attest to that. I've always said, let me know.
That's true. You have said that.
I have.
But yeah, you're too eager with it, so that makes me think. There's like, are you gonna like try to do something to my kid? You're gonna try to brainwash him?
No, me and him are just going to watch old Flyers highlights. I don't know what you mean
Yeah.
by brainwashing.
Exactly. I don't even care about hockey enough for that to be a factor.
I keep threatening Jen that if jokingly threatening, obviously, that if I have a
Threatening
baby,
your wife.
I'm glad you
clarify
prefaced
that it's a joke.
Yeah.
That if I ever babysit for you guys when you guys come home, it's just going to be like we're just going to be sitting there watching the Flyers, me and
I think
Danny.
there's gonna be
and
I think
cheer.
there's gonna be a point that Jen is gonna be so exhausted. She's like, I don't give a fuck anymore, Mark.
I was just gonna say that is more than a fair agreement. You could watch however many Philadelphia sports teams as you wish.
It's like, Mark, you want to take us to games? I bought you season tickets. You and him.
You now watch him. That's the deal. You could take him to
41.
Sixers games. Doesn't matter.
Oh man,
41 nights a year.
I'm not that
Mark
rich for
and
Sixers
Danny.
games.
No,
I
I'm
may be single and childless, but not. I don't have that much free money to spend on Sixers tickets.
no, neither do I. No, I'm in the same boat with sleep because he's up around 7, so I don't get to sleep past 7:30.
My son did sleep till 9 o'clock. He had a very long Friday and Saturday, and then it caught up with him on Sunday.
Is that like one of those things where either you or Lynn turn into how my cat is and going, oh god, we gotta go check on him. This is getting concerning.
You got the monitor on him. You see he's breathing. But I managed to get out of the bedroom with the dogs all the way downstairs and fed them, and then I sat there and I watched TV for an hour and a half because I was up at 7:30 because the dogs were up at 7:30. But the dogs make as much noise as they possibly can between that small hallway down the stairs. It's like a fucking college band walking through the house. It's fucking feet and their click clack nails. Just want to murder them every time they make a noise.
They do everything they can to be as loud as possible.
Yeah.
Stretch, shake, scratch, stretch again, shake again. It's like
Yeah, it's literally dodging a minefield, just living life, right? It's
Yeah.
all these obstacles that we put in our way.
yes,
We have no one to blame but ourselves.
exactly. I was like, I had that conversation with Lynn recently. It was just like, we have too many cats. When the next one goes, we're not replacing him.
I've thought about that as well. Like,
Like,
I'm gonna need just some alone time, I think.
I was like, 2 cats is enough. And she's like, yes, 2 cats is it's like, agreed. All right. Well, besides all that, and besides Dan maybe going on suicide watch with all the things he said recently, we did watch a movie. But before we talk about the movie that we watched this week, I want to talk about our Patreon, patreon.com/TickTamPod, because that's where all the fun is happening. Because if you subscribe for just $1, not only do you get exclusive episodes every month, we just did a full-length episode on the Obsession film from this year. You also get exclusive access to our Discord, and that's where the fun is. We talk movies there, movies we watch for the podcast, movies that we're just watching on the side. We got our Patreons talking about the movies they're watching, the TV they're watching, the music they're listening to, and we also help. They also help us decide our movies of the month, which are our last episodes of every month. We put up a poll, and they vote on it. And we watch what they tell us to. Recently, we watched Happy Days, 3 episodes of Happy Days, which was a lot of fun. Was our last episode, so check that out. But anyway, the Discord is a lot of fun. Lots of good stuff going on there. And the only way to get on that is if you go to patreon.com/TickTampon and you subscribe for $1. All right. This week's movie was my pick, and I picked a film that I want to say either Red Letter Media or How Did This Get Made covered like years ago. And that's the first time I ever heard of it. And then I saw that it was on Amazon Prime. So I said, you know what? We haven't watched this movie yet. It looks weird enough. So I'm going to put this on the schedule. That movie is The Passion Project from the other guy from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I'm talking, of course, of Alex Winter, and the film from 1993 called Freaked. Freaked from 1993 is directed by Tom Stern and Alex Winter, and it stars Brooke Shields, Alex Winter, William Sadler, Michael Stoyanov, Morgan Fairchild, Alex Zuckerman, Megan Ward, Randy Quaid, John Hawkes, Mr. T, Keanu Reeves. IMDb score of 6.4, Rotten Tomato score of 61%. Budget, $11 million. Box office, $30,773. Plot, part Island of Dr. Moreau, part Nothing But Trouble, part Looney Tunes. Freaked tells the story of vain actor Ricky Coogan, who sells his soul to be the spokesperson of a mega corporation and their dangerous chemical that is wreaking havoc on the island of Santa Flan. On his trip to the remote island, he runs into a mad scientist that turns regular people into deformed monsters in order to have them perform in a sideshow. Dan, I want to know where you're coming from with Freaked. So let us know.
I'm glad you emphasized John Hawkes, because I had also written that down. John Hawkes! Exclamation point. And
Can't wait to see him.
Right. But that it made me laugh because, again, shout out the Patreon. We specifically talked about him a few days ago and how he is usually very good in what little parts he plays. I do not remember him in this movie, even though I watched it. I don't know what he played in this, so I can't say that he made this movie any better.
So you don't know you have no idea which character he's played.
I don't. Do you?
I do.
Okay. Who is
He's
it?
the talking cow.
No, really? Cowboy?
Yes, he is. He is Cowboy.
Who could
He's a
forget
blink
Cowboy?
and you blink and you miss it shows up at the end. So I think it's really just him at the end,
Okay.
maybe. I don't know if he's the voice because the voice is unrecognizable.
Yes.
But there is the brief scene at the end of the Brooke Shields' talk show where they all come out at the end,
Yeah.
and it's him. At the
Okay.
very least, in that scene, it's him.
Yeah.
But to credit him, he's in the credits. I'm assuming he's the person in the suit as well, or
He would
at
have
least
to
the
be.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
I,
you,
I,
while we're on this subject, do you want to take a stab at who Keanu is
as the dog
credited
did,
as? Okay.
right? Yeah. That was easy because he sounds like Keanu, just doing a weird. I guess he's trying to do a Mexican accent,
Yeah, it's like a Hispanic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hispanic accent. Yeah. I also had written down reminds me of Nothing But Trouble. Um, yeah, I'd seen this movie when I was younger. And this was something I looked forward to. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it on TV, and I just remember being so excited. 'Cause, monsters, cool gore effects stuff. Kind of thought that's what I thought it was going to be. And remember I remembered so very little of this movie, but as I was watching it, like, oh yeah, the Jamaican or the Rastafarian eyeballs, Bobcat Goldthwait as a puppet man. So things started to come back, and I remembered as a kid, like, oh, this movie sucks. And as I was watching it, I thought, this movie sucks. I do not like this movie. It's insufferable. I was. I couldn't wait for this to end, to be honest. Alex Winter looks and acts like Rob Schneider in this.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a major turnoff, if you know me. Yeah, and you could see why Alex Winter probably never made it as a leading man.
No.
And I've always said I give credit to directors, actors who swing for the fences, right? I'd rather you swing for the fences than be boring. They did that here. There was some parts that I enjoyed. The monster makeup is cool. I read a lot of the budget went just towards that, just towards the makeup and the effects. So that's cool. I enjoyed that, especially like the worm, the bookworm or worm man.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah, they built out an entire worm suit for this person. The nose boy, the cowboy, and the at the end when Alex Winter and the gremlin turn into like trolls, huge trolls. Like, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff I enjoy looking at, but this movie has no heart. There's nothing in it where I would say it resembles a meaningful story. I get that it's supposed to be, Alex Winter is this vain, chauvinistic actor. Like at the end, he realizes looks aren't everything, blah blah blah. I never got that sense of a story arc from him. It was basically just one wacky thing after the other, and it was almost like UHF in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but UHF actually had a story that made some kind of sense. The humor was almost along the lines of Neighbors at times, another Dan Aykroyd movie, and it definitely felt like an MTV generation movie where it was just anarchy for the sake of anarchy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
lot
I just think that this was aimed at younger kids at that time, but there was a ton of cursing in this movie, so I don't know who would bring their kids to this movie. Apparently nobody, because it only made 30 grand. So yeah, kind of a big swing and a miss here for me.
Okay. Mark, where are you
Yeah.
coming from?
So the weird thing, I hadn't looked at the list of movies we were watching for a little bit, and then I listened to a podcast, and they had mentioned they got a
Wait, there's
question about.
another podcast besides this one?
Not that I'm aware
It's
of.
not it wasn't a movie podcast. It was a video game podcast, so something different.
Oh, okay.
We're the only movie podcast
I thought so.
out there. So they got a question about one of the guys on there talks about vinegar syndrome a bunch. So the guy said, "Do you have any recommendations?" And Freaked was one of the 3 movies that he had mentioned on there. The other 2 we will watch later this year as part of my pick. But I was surprised to see this on the list. It was one of those like you live in a simulation sort of moments, where I had never heard of this movie before, hear it on that podcast, and then I open up our doc to put it down as my next choice and see that Anne had already chosen it, which makes sense because he is in with the Vinegar Syndrome Criterion Collection stuff, a good bunch. So I don't know.
Criterion Collection.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like those special re-release DVDs and stuff.
I'm with it. I'm with it, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, you're hip. You're down.
I
You're
am
not.
hip.
You're not
Damn
like
clown.
us olds over here. So I was excited to watch it just because it had popped out of nowhere, and I just wanted to see if it was as dumb and weird as it sounded from the way this guy described it on the podcast. And the first thing I realized is I don't think I knew what actual Alex Winter looks like. Because when he pops up in this movie, I was like, I had to go to IMDb. I'm like, oh, okay, that is Alex Winter. I think I only had like Bill in my head, the way he looks in that movie. So seeing him in this sort of, you said, young Rob Schneider sort of look to him, threw me off a bit. This movie very much felt like we had mentioned, like how Dan Aykroyd would get a lot of actors from the 80s and stuff into his weird passion project movies. And this felt like Alex Winter calling in his friends from Hollywood to like do this movie with him, this idea. And I think for the most part, what this movie was in his head when he wrote it or whatever, there's probably drugs involved, I would assume, by the subject matter. But I don't know if he had like a plot, like, everything seems to happen just to be like a reference or a quick like laugh line or something. Nothing seems to, like, there's no real through line on anything. Like, I don't know if he actually learns a lesson, or even the friend learns a lesson, which is always fun to see the older brother from Blossom show up on things in this time period.
Mhm.
But
was he in something else we've watched? I feel like we brought him up before. I'm gonna look that up while you continue to talk.
Yeah. Because every time where you think he's starting to like get it and do something, he makes a joke. Like my biggest example is when they're saying the plan on how to get into the lab, like have the worm burrow and all that, and you think he's going to come up with the plan, but then everyone else around him comes up with him, and his contribution would have been to send away for sea monkeys, and have them break into the lab or whatever. And it just seems like it was referential humor, like we had talked about in the Happy Days thing about the Jack Benny stuff. Like, there's a lot of jokes in here that I understood in the sense of I knew the things and people they were talking about in the joke, but some of the jokes I don't get why the joke, like why it would be funny. Like, I know what sea monkeys are. I don't know why that joke is supposed to be funny. Outside of the fact that he'd be mailing away for something that would take weeks to do. And a lot of that stuff didn't hit. And like the Rastafarian eyeballs and just everything just seemed to be, it's like I always said, it's the thing that always feels like gold when you're writing it or pitching it to somebody, like a co-writer or something. And then you guys write down all the scenes and you have fun making the little jokes and the little things, but then forget to make an actual story within it, like growth and all that stuff that you learn in writing class. And yeah, there's not even like, there's no reason for the girl to eventually fall in love with him, who I knew looked familiar and then saw she was in Encino Man. And it was just like, I don't like, I some of the freaks were fun ideas to do. I don't know if any of them were sort of semi or maybe really offensive. I didn't dig deep enough to know if the giant nose was like, some kind of like Jewish reference or something, like if they went that like joke offensive with it. But just the idea overall of it, like, it makes no sense what was actually going on in that you're starting off with one half of the movie where he's with this corporation, and they want him to hawk this product that's obviously toxic and, bad, for the environment, and then they decide to turn off the road onto this freak show, and then that's where most of the movie takes place. And there's no real reason why any of this is connected at all, outside of the use of the toxic product. The only good joke that I did get a chuckle at, which was just one of those long plays of a joke, is that the company's called ESS. Everything
except shoes.
Everything except shoes. EES. And then at the end, when they melt because of the toxic goo, when they form together, they form into a giant shoe monster. And I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. It doesn't hit as hard because none of the jokes really land, but I'm like, all right, I see that was the joke for the movie, that was going to be the punchline there. And yeah, I don't know. It just very much, I think the final thing I'll say, I think Dan hit it on the head. And I didn't even think about it until he mentioned it, that this had a lot of liquid television sort of look to it and vibe to it. Was the MTV block of weird cartoons and all that. I think Ren and Stimpy was originally on there, and Aeon Flux and stuff like that, for the Gen Xers and Zillennials that are listening to this podcast. And that's very much what it felt like. It felt like this was the humor of the day, sort of thing, that either we weren't meant to get now, or it was probably terrible overall. I mean, it made no money, but it just very much felt like a guy was making references and jokes to a time period, and none of his references or jokes really carried through, for the most part. And it wasn't even like a fun movie to watch. I think the one fun twist in it was that the antidote was the macaroons that they stole from the lab. And then the worm coming out at the end and going, oh, you can't kill a man for not liking macaroons, or, because he's still a worm. But yeah, overall, I just wish there was some kind of through line at all, to make this not just seem like a slog.
Okay. Are you guys ready to be mad?
You love this movie.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
I didn't love it. I won't go that far, but I did not hate it. I think this, in terms of the jokes that land, this movie is batting like a 220, but there's so many jokes that, like, there's enough that gets me through it.
Is this movie playing Moneyball?
You could say that, sure. You guys are 100% right. This feels like MTV. It does not feel like liquid television, Mark. You're thinking of MTV's oddities, including the Head and the Max. That's what this movie feels like.
I knew it was some.
They're both very similar, but this feels like MTV's oddities. With the Head specifically. The Head was all about freaks. Got the giant head, among other things. I liked how unserious this movie was, and the point where it got me, where I was like, yeah, this is just like throw these jokes against the wall and see what sticks, was the macaroons situation, where it was just they almost flawlessly pulled together the plan. Like, they tunneled through to get like this serum. And then he botches it at the end. He fumbles it, literally. But then they're like, but I stole these macaroons, and everybody celebrates. And there's like confetti that comes out of nowhere, and just they're happy, even though their plan was fucked up from just, Butterfingers. Everybody's happy because they just have macaroons. And I was like, all right, I'm with this movie. It's not a particularly funny joke, but I enjoy its spirit, in a way. The one joke that disappointed me is just because of casting. The Bob Vila joke would be so good if it was Bob Vila. Like, without Bob Vila, you take that joke right out of it, because there's just some guy impersonating Bob Vila. But that's a good joke if they, maybe not spent $1 million to give Keanu Reeves a cameo. Give it to Bob Vila, because that's good. That's a solid joke.
That's a UHF kind of joke, and Weird Al gets Bob Vila.
The milkman situation made me laugh.
The one when he turns around and they're all dressed as the milkman was pretty good.
And then Randy Quaid looks out the window. He's like, "That's a lot of milkmen on one route." That's why they're fighting.
That was pretty good.
It's like just an absurd
Yeah.
situation that I enjoyed. I liked the Rastafaris, which apparently one of the actors that plays one of the eyes is John M. Chu, who, if you don't know who he is by his name, he is the director of Crazy Rich Asians, In the Heights, and Wicked for Good.
No way! Wow.
And
Hey,
he's
that's
one of
awesome.
he got his start as which one? Which eye? Because there's two of them.
The left eye.
Oh no, he's not the eye. He's giant Stewie monster. I
Okay.
apologize, but
That's even weirder, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah,
There
Yeah,
I
that
Oh, go
doesn't
ahead.
shy away from the point that I made about that this just felt like Alex Winter called in all of his Hollywood friends, where
Definitely.
I
people
mean, I don't know
connected with
who.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who this guy was. I'm sure he was nobody at that point. But I mean, obviously, William Sadler and Keanu Reeves, straight off of Bogus Journey.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know what his connection with Brooke Shields was. I'm sure there's something there. Maybe they dated at some point.
Yeah.
Morgan Fairchild, I don't think has ever not cashed a check.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the
I
the turmoil that the Stewie character goes through, where they just keep calling him a troll, kind of made me laugh the entire
Oh,
time.
troll, not gremlin. Yeah, I thought
The
it was
troll,
gremlin.
yeah.
Real quick, there was a joke, there was a gag in the movie with Stewie, and they almost nailed it. And it's when he's going to the newspapers
Mm-hmm.
to talk about uh, how Alex Winter has been kidnapped and
Yeah.
the chemical was being used, right? And every paper throws him out the door through the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he finally gets to a newspaper that will run his story. And like, all right, well, yeah, the people need to know. Do you need to know the way out? Like, no, sir, I can throw myself out. And he throws himself out the door.
Mm.
I was like, oh, it would have been so much funnier if they threw him out again, even after accepting his story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like, that's what this movie was to me. It was going to the well too many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the National Enquirer, or like one of those like
Sure.
send-ins is what the final one was. That did lead to a pretty solid joke later when the FBI shows up and they ask what took them so long, and they just kept flipping through pages of different things in the National Enquirer that they had to go solve.
Yeah.
And everybody going, "Oh yeah, of course you'd go there first." I mean, the house
Sure.
that dripped blood or whatever.
Right.
I love the Paul Lynn joke. It again would have been better if Paul Lynn was still alive. If he
Right.
just showed up in there as the center square.
Right.
Yeah, there was just something about this movie that just I was like, it's not particularly funny. Like I said, the jokes more often than not don't land, but there's so many of them. Like I don't dwell on the fact that the previous joke didn't land because there's another one coming right behind it.
Yeah.
And sure, that one didn't land either, but the next one might.
It's Alex Winter is also he's not supposed to be likable in any sense of the imagination,
Yeah.
but you don't even pretend to care about him. Like there's nothing redeeming about him for the most part. So how are you as an audience supposed to care that he gets turned into a monster?
I don't think you're supposed to care. I think this is an incredibly unserious movie.
It's
I
like the
don't
pest
think you're
almost.
I don't think you're supposed to learn any lessons. The ending felt so much to me like the end of Wayne's World, where it's
Sure.
just Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
I learned one thing is that great looks, nice car, and money can get you anywhere in this world, almost to the
Almost
top.
to the top.
Or whatever it was, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
what that ending reminded me of. Like,
Yeah,
no one's learning a lesson here.
Yeah.
I think you don't care so much about Alex Winter's character is mainly because his friend is so much worse than him.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, he can, it doesn't, you don't notice how like awful of a person out, that character's supposed to be, like former child
Ernie?
star and all that.
I think, right? Ernie's his buddy's name or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a
and-
scumbag. Like from the jump. like sexually harassing people on the plane.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're meeting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
that-
that's true. Yeah. On the airplane.
And another good joke when we see like the stock footage of the airplane landing and then it just explodes.
oh,
I
did
was
it
like,
cut?
glad,
Yeah.
glad it wasn't ours, which
Our plane.
is a Simpsons joke.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's the Itchy and Scratchy Land gag.
Ooh, glad that wasn't us.
I'm glad that I'm not tired. I'm not tired at all.
Which is a Simpsons joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I laughed at that.
Yeah. Who was it was Christian Slater that pissed him off, right? In the car when she goes,
Oh, she says, yeah.
it's an actor like Christian Slater, and
Yeah.
then he's like, I can act circles around Christian Slater.
I wonder if there was an actual beef between Alex Winter and Christian Slater or something along those lines.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there are references throughout this, like the movie on the plane was Return to Blue Lagoon. Obviously, Blue Lagoon was the movie that Brooke Shields was in.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's like, I heard that one sucked.
That's right.
Yeah. The one thing I liked on her show was when they were doing the joke about why he was in shadow the whole time. It was like, oh, we finally fixed the light over him. Turn it on now.
Yeah.
That was pretty decent, and then it winds up
yeah.
he's his normal self. Because the entire time I was when we were watching the opening, I was like, okay, they're not showing it, and then 20 minutes into the movie, he gets transformed, and we see him. I was like, well, all right, well that kind of ruins that reveal. So they kind of got me on that one.
Yeah. It's funny because and you guys talk about like, oh, this kind of work, but none of it seems to actually work in like the sum of its parts. You know what I mean? Where we're naming 2 or 3 or 4. Oh, this was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. But this movie was almost like Death by a Thousand Cuts incarnate.
To you, perhaps.
No, for everybody. It made $30,000. I refuse to let you gaslight me into thinking that this is a decent movie.
I would say it's greater than the sum of its parts. Because again, this movie's maybe it's even under the Mendoza line in terms of jokes that land. But I like Mr. T in here doing the
beauty tutorial was great.
A beauty tutorial because he seemed locked in too.
Yeah,
which I liked. I like to see "Get Ready with Me" TikToks from Mr. T.
Mr. T. Apparently, he had like a meltdown on set and left with 3 days left to shoot. So even Mr. T he pitied Alex Winter and left.
You pitied this fool?
He pitied that fool.
I figured it's more that he just got scared that he liked what he was doing, and it went against his Christian faith or whatever.
This is getting too real. I gotta run.
I don't like makeup. I gotta go.
I will say one of the things I remember as a kid that horrified me was watching the sock puppet man get absolutely lit up by
the Rastafaris.
That scared the hell out of me because it's like RoboCop, right? The Ed 209.
I was thinking the same thing.
Just blowing him away. And even as a 39-year-old man, like, oh, this is uncomfortable to see because it's Bobcat Goldthwait getting shot to death.
Bobcat Goldthwait, but just is a sock puppet hand.
It just has a sock puppet hand.
The one thing I did enjoy about the end of that death is when they're holding the hand, like in their hands as though it was his head, and the blood, like they punctured a blood capsule in the hand to make it look like
right. He's bleeding from his mouth.
Yeah, while talking. But yeah,
again,
like I said,
I'm not going to let you guys trick me. Like, oh, that was good. No, it wasn't good.
I didn't. To follow up on the point, I didn't hate it. I just was like, oh, this is like mindless, sort of. I didn't think it was good. There were like some of the jokes landed, like you said, under 2 out of 10, maybe. There were no real like home runs, so it wasn't even like a 3. They weren't even a 3 outcomes. Joke writers in this. But yeah, I just wish. I think the only thing that would have piqued my interest a little bit more is if there was some kind of just a mini through line, just like that he learned something, or something changed in the character.
Right.
You could have kept playing the jokes, but it just seemed like the only thing that changed was that company got exposed, and the thing is no longer allowed to be produced or whatever. And that was it. That was the whole conclusion of the story. And the whole Brooke Shields TV show thing is also a flashback to a thing I don't know if many people this generation would even know about. The Phil Donahue, Oprah Winfrey, those kind of daytime
Sure.
sit down talk shows.
Yeah.
That would feel foreign to show a younger generation.
I don't know. Kelly Clarkson has that show, right?
Oh yeah, she
Drew
does.
Barrymore.
And Drew Barrymore. Because those are the
Yeah.
two holding it down now. Now that
But
Ellen's gone.
I feel like those are just late night TV shows on in the daytime more than what the Phil Donahue stuff was.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah.
I see what you mean on that one.
Yeah. But Sally Jesse Raphael, don't forget the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. I remember her.
And it just that little twist joke wasn't great.
Right. There's so many good setups to jokes that don't land. Like I'm thinking of he's doing the monologue from Richard III, and there's the Oxford professor in the audience that says for basically you idiots, we're going to put some closed captioning on or some subtitles on so you can understand what he's saying. And they don't really accomplish that joke because it's stupid. The subtitles are stupid. It's
and I'm
ugly.
my own.
I don't get laid. I was like, oh, that's what you did with that joke. That boo.
And it also didn't play well because I had the actual subtitles on. So
right.
They got their subtitles sometimes got covered up.
Yeah. So it was you could have done something better with that. It's a good setup and failure in the execution on that. But I don't know. This movie I will never watch this again. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be drinking one night let's watch Freaked. I love this film. But I didn't hate my time with it. I enjoyed its spirit. Like we said, this feels 90s MTV. I mean, I think that what's accomplishes that is the opening credits. Obviously, it's very MTV. With the music, obviously. But kind of, I can't say I dug it, but I didn't hate it.
I was looking on Letterboxd. It's got a 3.6 out of 5, and this is the kids are wrong. You guys are wrong. I'm sorry.
It's a 6.4 on IMDb. It's almost a 7. It's close to a 7.
What was I think Neighbors was another movie that we covered, and everyone that reviewed it was kind of the same old thing. We're like, oh, you don't understand this kind of comedic genius that they're coming out with. Like, oh, you're not sophisticated enough. I refuse to believe that there is a higher purpose or a higher meaning to Freak, where this movie is it's a diamond in the rough. It's not. It's really not.
I don't think there is a higher meaning to this. I think it is what it is, and you either like it or you don't. But it's got 61% on it's fresh. It's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. 23.
I don't understand.
23 reviews, but still.
Yeah, it counts. Listen, it's still something. It's just I don't know. I not that I need everyone to see my point of view or need to feel validated, but
you kind of do a little bit. Maybe just a little bit.
Maybe just a little. No, I just think that it's one of those things where I don't. Is there a mass psychosis where just because it's different automatically makes it better? I don't think this is one of those scenarios.
I hear you, but I can't help but find this sort of not unenjoyable.
Okay.
I can't even say enjoyable, but it's not unenjoyable. Yeah.
I couldn't. Would you? What? It's not charming. It's not.
Oh no,
particularly
it's grotesque.
funny. Yeah,
it's grotesque. It's again doesn't land most of its jokes. It's the spirit in which this movie envelops really.
Yes, yeah.
And again, we might watch a movie that is very similar, and I'll say I hate this fucking movie.
Right.
So I don't think there's like a reason for anything specific. I think there's in the 90s, I guess there was just it feels like the parody films of its contemporary, you know? Like not the reference films of like the 2000s, but like the
Okay.
Loaded Weapons of the world, Robin Hood Men in Tights. I'm not saying this is as good as any of these films because I think Robin Hood Men in Tights is one of the most underrated films, comedies ever. Um, but just the joke every 10 seconds like aspect of it kind of
Yeah.
worked on me. Yeah.
I think this is a good a cautionary tale of those types of movies, right? The joke every 10 seconds.
It's spray and pray.
Exactly. And it shows you that they're the levels, right? Because like you get the Zucker brothers type, right? A
Yeah.
gag every few seconds, which 90% of those do land. And then you get Freaked, where 2 out of 10, like you guys were saying, right? It's batting 200. So it's like, yeah, 2 out of 10 may hit. So
Right.
it just shows you the levels of like how difficult it is to be consistently funny.
I feel like a lot of the things could, for some reason, I feel like a bunch of like skits they put together. Like when you write a skit, from what I remember of writing one, this, you have the premise, the setup punchline of the entire skit, in there, and I feel like a lot of the jokes and segments have that premise going through it, but like we said, very few times do they actually hit the punchline of the joke of the skit of that section of movie. And I think that's where I can see where Ant's on that line where, yeah, everything leading up to, the final punchline, is enjoyable, and I'm never going to watch it again. It's, I had a fun time with it because, they tried so many jokes. And I feel like this is like the ultimate of trying to mesh a bunch of ideas together and not knowing how to make them, work as a hour 20-minute consecutive movie.
That's another thing. It was mercifully short.
That's
Yeah.
true. 80 minutes. Pretty sweet.
Yeah. As we're talking about Spider-Man and off podcast talking about the fact that the Masters of the Universe movie was 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah. At least
This
the
one
Marvel
was-
thing, you can go, it's fucking Marvel.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Bring back
Masters of the
100-minute
Universe,
movies.
yeah, that was that was the good part about it. It I think if it goes a little bit longer, I think it does start to wear out its welcome.
Oh, easily.
I think it cuts off at just the right point because that final scene was a little like dragging a little bit, even for me who found it like non like mediocre, like mid, as you would say,
As the kids would say.
as the kids would say. So I think if it goes on any longer, I think I started getting tired of the whole, freak show place with Randy Quaid. No, that Randy
This
Quaid.
is Randy Quaid. Yep.
Yeah. That whole thing started to wear its welcome, and I'm glad it ended how it ended. But like I said, I feel like, as I usually do with some of these movies, I feel like I fall in the middle on it, and I think you two are on the other ends of it in terms of not far end like you love it, Ant, but like you enjoyed it a little bit more, and Dan hated it. So
I
feel
think
like
I think Dan and I are gonna push each other in opposite directions too. The more he hates it, the
so.
more I'm gonna love it. The more I love it, the more he's gonna hate it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna let you gaslight me on this one because that happens. Sometimes I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this," and then I'll listen to you guys talk it over. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can see where they're coming from." Not a chance on this one.
This production designer on this was director of Twilight, Catherine Hardwicke.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
And
Does
I
it?
think one of the
No,
writers,
I don't. That felt like the thing to say after you presented that.
one of the
Special
writers,
effects by Screaming Mad George, who did special effects on Predator, The Abyss, Big Trouble in Little China. It's pretty good.
pretty good. Alex Zuckerman directed Blank Check, Hook, and Exorcist 3, I think, or he wrote those.
Alex Zuckerman?
Alex
Isn't he
Zuckerman.
the kid that was in Blank
Yes.
Check? Yeah.
Was
I think
he?
he said he was Yeah. He's the So he's Stewie
Oh,
in
he's
this,
Stewie. Yes.
and he was
Yeah.
the friend. Well, not the friend, the frenemy in Blank Check, the one that's got the birthday
Right.
party at the amusement park.
So
And
he's in Hook
yeah,
and The Exorcist 3. Not he. Okay, I
the one that
misunderstood.
Miguel Ferrer pushes, like puts on the roof, right? In Blank Check, they hold him over the
Oh
edge.
yes, yeah. I don't remember who he was. Exorcist 3 because that came out in 1990.
Yeah, if he wrote all
Corner
those movies,
boy.
what an impressive
Okay.
Impressive
Yeah.
for a 7-year-old. No.
7-year-old to write 3 movies.
Yeah, he's the actor in those
Yes.
films.
I misread.
All right. I feel like we've already done it, but final thoughts, Dan.
I guess I'm in the minority on this podcast, and that's okay. But this was a meandering mess of a movie. It seemed as if, and I will say I like that Alex Winter, he produced it, he co-wrote it, he co-directed it, and starred in it. So this, as Anthony said at the beginning, passion project for him, which is great. I'm happy for him. I like Alex Winter. He's fun. Anytime I see him in other movies, I enjoy him. This one was just it's a bridge too far for me, I guess. The monster makeup is cool at times. I like the shoe, the claymation shoe that the executives turn into. That was fun, but it's not funny to me. The story just seems slapped together. Even when they meet what's her, is it Julie, the main actress character?
I think so.
Julie, yeah. So even like getting Julie to come on the adventure with them was very rushed. Yeah, it reminds me of all the worst comedies of the 90s, right? I said The Pest, Nothing But Trouble, Biodome. I felt a little Biodome in here, right? With how Alex Winter and was it Michael Stoyanov? But he's basically sexually harassing everybody.
Yeah,
So
this movie didn't have the weasel. So how
I'm
could you
surprised
compare
it didn't, to be honest. It makes perfect sense that he would have been in a movie like this. I don't know. It didn't hit me when I was younger, and it definitely didn't hit me now. So this is a pass for me.
Okay. Mark, final thoughts.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat as Dan said. I think it's a pass. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. Like, this isn't one of those like cult things that you need to watch if you want to be known as one of the cool movie people. It doesn't have that vibe to it. It's meandering is probably a good word for it. I feel like I enjoyed some of the jokes more than obviously Dan did. But I feel like that you could have made a nice cult classic weird movie if you landed the plane a few more times on some of the long jokes. And it's instead of just getting like 90% there and then just failing at the end for it, you could have got some of the jokes to be like remembered for years. But once you don't hit the punchline, nobody really and I feel like that's what this movie was, where they for some reason just couldn't finish a joke. And yeah, it's inoffensive in the sense that you're not going to hate your time watching it if you watch it, but you're also not going to feel like it was time well spent.
I think
That's
Dan would
about
disagree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Dan would disagree with me. Yes. This is I'm very much the middle moderate part of this.
Gross.
Gross. Ew. I felt dirty saying that. Part of it in that,
living up to the fact that you were Ken Bone for Halloween once, right?
Yep.
Undecided voter.
Yep. The first time, speaking of circling back to the, feeling old part, that was one of the first times I ever felt old, because there were multiple Instagram comments about it where some people kept going, "Oh, that kid's dad looks like Ken Bone," and I was with oldest niece in the photo because for Halloween. So anyway, but yes, it's just your mileage will vary depending on how you'll either feel like Ant feels or you feel like Dan feels, and I can't predict which way you will fall with this movie going into it. So I don't recommend it, but also, I'm not going to like tell you to absolutely not see this movie like we've had with a handful of movies we've watched for.
Okay. As for me, I'm here to tell you if you love this movie, let your freak flag fly. It's okay to love it. Don't let these guys harsh your mellow because you're probably high. uh, no, again, not all the jokes land. A lot of them don't. But there's a spirit of it just throwing them all at you, and eventually you're gonna laugh at one of them, which it got me. It won me over. I enjoyed the stupid non sequiturs, the scatological humor. Um, I will never watch this film again, but for the 85 or so minutes that it had me, I did not hate myself. I enjoyed the time I spent with Freaked. And I wish we saw more of Alex Winter,
Yeah, I agree to that.
but that's Freaked. Yeah, they have mixed bag for us over here. But we are going to take a quick break for our third segment. But before we do, Dan, what do you have for us?
All right, guys, go check out the video game podcast, the Game Vault podcast, run by our very own Mark Myers and good friend of the show's Tom Schuster. If you are a gamer, this is an excellent source of information for you. They are on any podcast platform that you use. So, whatever you use, please rate and review them on there. Helps them out a great deal. What they do over there, they're talking about video games that they're playing. They're talking about video game news, stuff going on in the industry, playing games, old, new, whatever they have around them. They have a large library. So it's always fun. It's always something new and exciting. So go check them out over on any podcast platform. They also stream on Twitch at Game Vault Pod. It's a great community. Again, playing a ton of different games. It's a lot of fun. Myself, I like the old school games, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis. They got you covered. They're playing all those games. Mark is also on YouTube. If you search Game Vault Podcast, it'll pop right up. He's got the Video Game News Hour. They also post all their playthroughs on there, stuff that maybe you couldn't see on Twitch. You missed it. It's on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. Again, go check them out. Game Vault Podcast. Follow them on all socials as well at Game Vault Podcast.
Okay, great. And we're going to take a quick break before our third segment. But don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And welcome back. And now it's time for our third segment. And this week, we've been talking a lot about MTV and the MTV animated shows. So we are going to tier list MTV shows. So I'm sharing my screen as we speak. It looks like we got a good crop of MTV original programming. So I started last time. So Dan, why don't you take us through your first one? What you picking?
All right. I'm going to go. I feel like this is an S tier pick to me. I want to start out strong. I'm going to go Daria. I love Daria.
Yes, I would not argue the S tier on Daria.
Yeah, there's
Daria is one of my favorites.
There's a funny moment, as you've known, I mentioned on this podcast before. I've been watching like old MTV stuff on YouTube, and they did a bit for one of the 90s New Year's Eve things, and it's supposed to cut to Daria, like doing the Daria stuff, talking about how terrible New Year's is or whatever. And they forget to cut away, and it just shows like a hot camera on Carson Daly when he doesn't think he's on camera, and it's on there. But yeah, that's my Daria thing most recently.
I love Daria. When it first came up on Hulu, I think I binged the entire series in like one weekend. I think I was like home by myself. I think like Lynn was out on a work trip and was like, "Oh, I guess this is what I'm doing." This was years ago. All right,
Nothing
Mark.
wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick another S tier. Maybe for me, but at least for the first couple seasons and first couple movies, Jackass was such a seminal thing of my childhood growing up, and
I can't argue. Isn't there like I heard something? It was like, isn't Jackass only like 20 episodes or something like that?
Is it?
20 episodes of Jackass.
Wow. It ran for so long, I feel.
Yeah, it's something like I heard it's not a very long show. and it's like you never think about it. There are 25 episodes of the original Jackass TV series.
That's incredible.
Right? It felt like they
Yeah.
were on forever, and they were only
But-
on, they only had
Does it-
3 seasons between 2000 and 2002.
Does it feel like you mix another show that's on this list, Viva La Bam, in with Jackass to make it seem like a longer
And they
run?
probably just ran it like
Yeah.
forever, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I feel the
Yeah.
same way about like the early Nickelodeon shows, like
Yeah.
Salute Your Shorts. There's only
Sure.
like 30 episodes of Salute Your Shorts, but it was on every single day for like 8 years.
Right.
Yeah. What I remember most about Jackass is the first wheeze laughing moment I had or can remember and that worried my sister was I think it's in the second movie when they dress the one guy as the devil and he pops up out of the ground next to
Mhm.
people on the street.
Right.
And I laughed so hard I couldn't breathe during that whole segment. And that was when I now have a tier of something when I find something extremely funny. I now know that is what I do because I don't think I've seen many things as funny as that first time through
Sure.
for some reason.
I just remember when the first movie came out that my mom had to take us and sit there and watch it with us because we were all under 17.
And of course, the most famous is the giant hand
Mhm.
hitting people.
All right. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going F tier. I'm getting it off the board. Andy Dick Show. Fuck
Yes.
him.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I never found him to be funny.
Nope. So just getting that off the board and setting up our parameters here. All right, Dan.
Fair. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a show that I think I've only seen sparingly, but for who it helped propel to now, I'm gonna go Human Giant B.
From what I saw, I liked Human Giant, but yeah, the star power of it, Paul Scheer, Rob Hubel, and Aziz Ansari.
Right.
Pretty
Linda
major.
Cardellini was in it, I believe.
It's good
Matt
sketch comedy.
Walsh. Yeah. Some big comedy powerhouses came out of there. So it at the time it wasn't anything groundbreaking,
Yeah.
but it still had some funny moments. So that's why I can't put it higher than B.
All right, Mark.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna also do either D or F tier. I want to put it F. You guys can decide. I think it's one of the reality shows that sensed a turn for the awful for the network and for just in general for the generation. F tier. Let's go 16 and Pregnant.
Sure. I've seen a fair amount of 16 and Pregnant.
Yeah, that was
Because of
just
my
when
wife.
MTV lost. So
I mean, it probably has helped the teen pregnancy
yes,
statistics. So I guess there is a positive that has come out of it.
yeah, and I feel
Unless
it's worse
you're
than
the other Matt Walsh, not the one from
Oh yeah,
from Human Giant.
Right. The other
Yeah.
guy that's obsessed
The
with
other Matt
transgender
Walsh.
people.
Yeah.
There's another similar show on here, but I feel like 16 and Pregnant. That was the first one, and I think
Teen Mom.
Teen Mom was a spin-off of 16 and Pregnant.
Yes,
Okay.
it was. Okay. I am gonna go with an A tier, and I'm only gonna go A because I think it's underseen, but it's one of the funniest shows I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It's Wonder Chosen.
Yes, I was. I feel like there are times when I've been around you way too much because as soon as you said underappreciated, I'm like, he's going to pick Wonder.
Wonder
Because-
Chosen is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And
I to
just
this
really ahead of
day,
its time.
I to this day think about beat
Kids on the beat, kids on the street, beat kids,
kids.
beat kids.
It just randomly it'll pop into my brain and I will sing that exact what Ant just sang.
Yeah.
Just to myself and laugh.
And
and
didn't laugh.
yeah.
That was another show. It was like 2 seasons. That's it. And it's maybe
Yeah.
maybe like 18 episodes or something like that.
It was
not
such
a lot.
it was such a cross between I would watch it with you guys, up at college. And then also the group of friends from the collegiate also would watch it like at 1 a.m. drunk. And I
Yeah.
felt like
Sure.
that show in that generation just crossed most like lines of people of our generation.
It's
Like,
such a
everybody loved
good
it.
home from the bars type of
Yeah.
show. Yeah. All right, Dan.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go D tier. Andy Milonakis show.
Okay. I will say one thing.
Go for
Ever
it.
so often, I will sing his the bee on my head. Don't call me a bee head, sort of thing, just randomly.
I
But I
put
was
him
not a I
there.
was not a fan of the show when it was on.
This was the time period, I believe, where I think I was about to go into college, so like the mid 2000s, when the Andy Milonakis show kind of sprung out of nowhere for a kid who really didn't have a ton of talent one way or the other.
Mm,
So I didn't get it when I was that age. And I think I was like the perfect age for it. So I was like,
yeah.
I don't see what people see in this kid, honestly. And
Yeah.
he was in Waiting, the movie.
Yes, he is
He
in
had his moment. Yeah.
And I don't know what he brought to the table, to be honest.
I don't either, because I was not a fan of Andy Milonakis, but ever so often I'll just car on my head. Don't I think I say it to my son a bunch, because there is a sequence in of all things Miss Rachel where there's like, does a car go on my head, and the answer is no, obviously no. So
That's
like,
good.
there's a car in my head. Don't call me a car head. Sort of thing like that. Um,
Sure. You're
I just
teaching
making
him all
that
the good
connection.
stuff.
Yeah. I put on Bob Ross for him the other day. He
That's
seemed to
good.
enjoy it. Well, it sounds like Mark has lost the internet. I guess he should pay that ever so often. So we're gonna continue on without him and talking about MTV shows. We could maybe even pretend like we know what Mark would have said. Right?
Yeah.
So I think it was my turn. I'm gonna go with another underseen show that I think is fantastic. Dan, have you ever heard of Three South?
No, I haven't.
So it's just it's an animated series, and it's just about some guys going to college. It's sort of like undergrads. Remember I think undergrads was like the more popular version of
Okay.
this. Right? That's this one right here, which I never watched. But Three South was fucking funny.
I'm looking at pictures of it, and I vaguely remember the artistry of it.
Yeah. Like Brian Posehn did a voice on it. Else? Brian Dunkelman, the other guy from the first season of American Idol.
Don't recall him. I know Brian Posehn.
Yeah. Phil Lamar, Jeffrey Tambor, they'll
Oh,
have
Alex
voices.
Borstein,
Yeah.
Lori Allen, Phil Lamar. Good
Okay.
talent.
Yeah. But it was just really funny. And like me and this one other this one other kid from high school knew of it. Everybody else, no one had ever heard of it except for me and this one other guy, and we would like just quote it all the time, because we were super cool in high school. I don't know about if you knew that about me, but I was very cool watching
I do
random
remember
ass
that.
animated shows from MTV2 of all things, not even the the main channel.
Well, that's how you and I cemented our friendship, was because all of our friends never watched The Simpsons.
Yeah.
We were the only ones, apparently.
All right, where are you going? I'm sure Mark has
right.
never seen. I'm sure Mark does what three.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to ask him later. All right, I'm gonna go with this is a personal A tier, but I could be talked down. It's a show that I used to watch with my dad, and he got a kick out of it, and I think I enjoyed him enjoying it more than I enjoyed it, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Celebrity Deathmatch
Okay,
it was almost appointment viewing at our house.
it had its moment, right? It was like
I
think
agree.
it was like the first one was like a Super Bowl halftime, like programming against like the halftime show. I feel like.
Really?
Yeah, or like one of the early episodes was like Celebrity Deathmatch, new episode during the halftime show. I wanna look this up. I could be just making this up.
Well, January 25th, 1998, as a special preview, followed by its official weekly premiere. So it might be a little early for the Super Bowl, right?
January, what'd you say?
25th.
Not back then.
Was that when the Super Bowl used to be? In January?
Yeah,
Okay. Because now it's in February.
yeah.
Yeah, that was just it was they would get interesting people on there every now and then. Like I know Stone Cold Steve Austin showed up for an episode or two.
Mhm.
Who was the referee? Because he was the referee during the Tyson Holyfield fight, right?
Right.
And he made like a whole career out of that, just being the ref.
Yeah, let's get it on.
Yeah, let's get it on. Yes,
Mills Lane,
Mills Lane. Thank you.
right?
I'm
That was
just
his name, right?
yes, I believe so. It was Death Bowl '98, so it probably was during the Super Bowl halftime.
Death.
It was Kathy Lee Gifford against Howard Stern, Pamela Anderson Lee against
Yeah.
RuPaul, and the Spice
Death
Girls
Bowl
take on
98
Hanson.
special
There you
pilot
go.
episode of MTV's Celebrity Deathmatch aired during the Super Bowl 32 halftime show in 1998, featuring 3 claymation fights. So
Yeah. So it, like you said, it had its its time, it had its moments. I don't know. I like claymation. We've talked about that on the show before. It was just a unique type of show.
yeah, no, I dug it. I'll allow it.
Cool.
Let's see. Where am I going? I'm gonna fill up some of the middle.
Okay.
I'm gonna go C tier, and I'm gonna put Next in C tier because Next was so overwritten, but so fucking funny.
What is Next?
Next was a reality dating show where they would be on the bus, and then like they would just one person. So it would be like one person that was supposed to date like a set of like 4 or 5 people, and then the first person would come off the bus, and then like if they didn't like them, they'd say next, and they'd leave, and the next person would come off the bus. But it was like just the goofiest shit, like the lines that they would give them to read. It was just so funny and so stupid. It was like right around like Room Raiders, Next,
Room Raiders,
Parental Control, all those were on around the same time. But Next was the best one.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
I never saw that.
Yeah, it was just so obviously they were just being fed like little quips, like for every like cutaway, and they were all just awful. So it was funny in that aspect. What about you? Next one.
Speaking of being fed lines, I'm gonna go think an F tier here. I know a lot of people like this show. I'm gonna stick to my guns just because I don't like this person. Punked F tier.
Ooh, yeah, I will agree with you.
Cool.
The punked, just like scumbag people, just all part of it.
I don't like the culture that it kind of ushered in.
Yeah.
Where
the trucker
you could
hats.
just yeah the trucker hat. I forgot about that. What was the trucker hat that he wore?
Von Dutch.
So douchey. But yeah, now we have. I feel as if there were other shows that tried to play off of that. Like the hidden camera style.
Oh, Jamie Kennedy had his own show. X,
there you go.
Right?
It's not funny to me. It wasn't funny to me then.
Yeah.
It's not funny to me now.
He got a child actor beat up by Zach Braff because of it.
Oh, was that like they dented his car?
It was like some kid that was supposed to be spray painting his car, and he was supposed to run away, but Zach Braff caught him. And he beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I guess that's what you chance.
I get it too. Like every time I've heard that story, is like they really cut around the fact that like supposedly Zach Braff roughed up the kid as much as Zach Braff could rough up somebody.
Right. At 150 pounds, soaking
yeah,
wet.
But like I was always like, well, I get it.
Yeah, messing with the guy's car.
Yeah,
it's probably not a cheap car.
Yeah, I always thought that was funny. All right, where am I? I am going to take. We talked about this earlier. Liquid Television. Liquid Television is where Beavis and Butthead premiered. I'm gonna put this up at B.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a big Liquid Television guy. I think it was on Mondays. It was like right around like I want to say it was like Monday Night Raw, kind of like it was like after Monday Night Raw. So you'd watch it Raw and then you'd switch over to MTV and watch the very early parts of Beavis and Butthead. I think like Frog Baseball premiered on Liquid Television. That was the first episode.
Was it Aeon Flux on Liquid Television?
It might have been like so. We have Aeon Flux here as its own entry. I think it
Okay.
was either part of that or MTV's Oddities, which we also talked about on this episode previous, which I don't see at MTV's Oddities here, but I see the Max, which was on at the head. I think Ian Flux, though. I've always felt like Ian Flux was like longer form,
Me
like a
too.
full episode, like 30-minute episode. But I could be wrong. I could be misremembering.
I remember
What
the
about you?
head. I never
Yeah,
watched these shows.
I remember watching the head.
I remember seeing it. I don't remember watching a full episode of it.
Yeah,
Same thing with the Max. I remember seeing it. I think there was a comic book as well,
yeah.
but a lot of this stuff was like it was on too late for me.
Mhm.
All right, so and a show that I necessarily wasn't a big fan of, but some of our mutual friends were big fans of it, and I would watch it with them, was the Tom Green Show, and that did break new ground. That was a very influential show in the '90s. So I feel as if I got to put Tom Green at A at the very least.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Tom Green Show fan either.
Me
Um,
neither.
but I can recognize its influence. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Listen,
gonna
this
argue.
guy, he took the late night show aspect and really turned it on its head.
Hmm.
Man on the street kind of thing. Yeah, he kind of ushered in a new era of MTV.
Yeah.
So, for better or worse, he was
Mm.
responsible for that.
Yeah. All right. I think it's time for another S tier, and I'm going old school. Going Yo MTV Raps.
Pretty good.
Ed Lover and the other Dr. Dre.
The other Dr.
The,
Dre.
the Ed Lover dance. You know what? Speaking of, because he used to show up on like Rock and Jock. Rock and Jock should be up in here. You ever watch
Yeah,
a
I'm
Rock and Jock
surprised.
softball?
Yeah,
That shit
that
was
was pretty
fun.
good.
Yeah, I think that was the best one. Like they had the
Yes.
basketball, and they probably at some point maybe tried to do flag football at some point too. I'm gonna guess, but
I
base
remember
softball was the
basketball.
best one.
Yeah.
They had like
I remember
the
basketball, but softball was the one that stuck out more.
they had the higher hoop, right? Like it was like 20 feet up in the air instead of for like the final 2 minutes of the game or something like that, and it was like extra points.
Yeah.
Something like, but softball was more fun. All right, what about you? Let's
Uh,
like do two more each.
okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go. Let's see. I think I don't. I feel like we're filling up an F tier, but this is really this show hits close to home for me, and you, Ant, probably closer for you. To Jersey Shore,
You're gonna put F.
and yeah, I feel like Jersey Shore deserves to be F just for what it like the horrors it wrought upon New Jersey.
All right, yeah, I can't argue with it honestly. It's yeah, I remember specifically being dragged to the clubs that they've been to.
We saw them, I think. I were you there?
I think I might have missed them.
Okay. But I remember one because we would go to we would go to Seaside in
Yeah.
like July usually with a friend of ours. And yeah, we went to Bamboo and they're filming one night and I wanted to get into television. I wanted to work in TV. And I asked it must have been a PA or somebody. And I remember asking, "Oh, like, do you have any applications? Like how would I apply?" And the person was like, "You don't want to do this."
He's
And they're
probably right
probably right.
too. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go. We're filling up that A tier, but I can't put it S. But another really great show, Clone High. You watch Clone High?
Sounds familiar. Where I don't even see it on here.
Clone High. Another. I had.
Oh, I
I
see
think.
it. Okay.
I think they brought it back for another season recently, but another great cast. Will Forte, Nicole Sullivan, and was like Donald Faison. But it's the
Pretty good.
so it's like they clone a bunch of historical figures and they're all in high school. The guy that so I think it's Bill Lawrence is the showrunner on it who did like did Ted Lasso, Scrubs, what's the other Shrinking that's on Apple TV Plus.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because
His-
so from what I'm seeing, right, Krista Miller, Neil Flynn, Nicole
Yeah, Neil Flynn.
Sullivan, Donald Faison, Zach Braff, and Sarah Chalk. So they're all from Scrubs.
Yeah. Yeah. Krista Miller is actually his wife in real life. She plays Cleopatra. Nicole Sullivan plays Joan of Arc. Will Forte
Yep.
plays Abraham Lincoln. I think Donald Faison plays Gandhi.
That's Michael McDonald plays Gandhi,
Michael McDonald plays Gandhi. I forget who
according to
Donald
the
Faison plays.
IMDb.
No, that sounds right. Actually, now that I'm listening to, like, in my head, listening to his voice, is like, oh yeah, that is Michael McDonald. I forget who Donald
Which is
Faison
so
plays.
weird because in
Yeah.
Scrubs, Donald Faison is called Gandhi by
That's true, Dr. Cox.
Dr. Cox.
Yeah. But it was a good show. It was really good. Again, same. I think it was like on for a season. It was the same time. It was like my senior year of high school, and it was like Clone High and 3 South. It was like the 10
Okay.
the 10 spot. Remember that the MTV had that programming called the 10
The 10
spot?
spot. Yes.
Yeah. I
do
think
remember that.
Undressed. Remember Undressed? That's not up here. Which was
Yeah,
like,
I'm surprised it's not a huge list here.
yeah. This was the biggest one I could find, but yeah, it was not a big one. Yeah, the John Undressed being broken promises of what you would guess was going to be like a really raunchy.
Yeah.
May hopefully see some sort of nudity, maybe
It-
simulated sex.
It was almost like Adult Swim or on Cartoon Network in a way. 'cause
Yeah,
A lot of the more adult themed cartoons would come on at 10 o'clock.
yeah. All right, your last pick.
All right, last pick. There's obviously like we have Beavis and Butthead. That's an S tier.
Yeah,
But I that's a throwaway pick.
yeah. We'll just put that up there now. That won't
Yeah,
count.
just put that there. Same thing with like I would probably put the state the same place as Human Giant, another monster talent that came out
Sure.
of there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. All right, so this was a show when I was younger. I thought it was hilarious. It was one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, and I remember trying to show you and a couple of our other friends this show. And like, you got to watch this. It's really funny. And it was one of those moments where I like started to panic because in real time, wow, this is criminally unfunny now. It's the Syphil and Ollie show. So I feel like I got to put it D tier.
Okay.
It's two sock puppets that did like it's like sketch comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, again, I was a teenager. I was probably like 15, 16 when I would watch this with a friend of ours, and we would laugh hysterically. It was the funniest thing ever. And then I remember being in Tom, our good friend Tom, we were in his basement and we were watching, I guess we were just going through YouTube or whatever. Like, oh, you check this out, check this out. And one of us said, you got to watch Syphil and Ollie. It's so funny. And you could like hear the fun get sucked out of the room while watching this.
Sure.
Oh man, just like dying a slow death.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I'm sure it happened.
It was painful to experience.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have no memory of it, so.
Good. That's also a detriment to the show. It shows how unmemorable it was.
All right. Final pick. I think I'm gonna do the big one. That's still left. And that I'm calling the big one is The Real World, as essentially the first reality show of all time. For that, it probably deserves a D, but I think it's got to go like B.
B or C.
I'm not a big reality show fan in general, but cultural touchstone. You know, Puck. Remember Puck from the first season? He was gross.
I remember an Asian woman from one of the seasons was very big.
Oh, she became somebody too, right?
Was
Jamie
she
Chung.
like a yes?
Right,
Was
Jamie
she a
Chung.
rock jock or something?
No, she's like an actress, right? I'm gonna look it
Jamie
up. I think
Chung.
It's Jamie Chung, I believe. Right.
I remember her. Was she on Road Rules?
She was in the Real World San Diego.
Road Rules. I mean Real World. I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember watching Real World when it first came out, and I thought it made me more adult. Like, oh, look at me! I'm watching an adult show. Like, oh, this is kind of boring for me.
I've seen we used to watch it in college too. I think because there's always attractive women on Real World, so
Right.
that's enough reason to watch something sometimes, especially in college.
It also spawned an amazing Chappelle sketch, The Mad Real World.
Sure. Yeah. I think actually the season that I watched when I was in college was the one that had the Miz.
Is that where he got his start?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What season was he? 2001. So I wasn't in college quite yet, but yeah. He was in the
Interesting.
real world 2001. But yeah, I do remember watching that season because he was talking about how he was like into professional wrestling and stuff on the show. Look at him. He's
Does he still
uh
wrestle?
not often, but he's still active.
Okay.
He's really there to put guys over. But I think he's a two-time Grand Slam champ.
There you go.
So he's a future Hall of Fame wrestler. Yeah, good on the mic.
Yeah,
But
I think a lot of these shows I was too young to watch at
mhm,
times. Like Beavis and Butthead, I would sneak around and watch.
yeah.
Same thing, like Idiot Box, not really something I was into. Uh,
Eon Flux, I don't think I ever watched.
yeah, I
Viva
remember
La Bam, I
seeing it.
watched a good amount of.
People of
The
Bam, I never watched.
Osbournes, I watched.
I
MTV
would watch
Cribs.
Cribs.
Yeah. I would so like whatever they showed like in the afternoon, like usually like when I was in high school, I would just but like MTV was like on until The Simpsons came on,
Yeah,
right? When Simpsons was on in syndication, it was like everything was just MTV. So eventually watch TRL, get your
TRL,
fix of Britney Spears music videos,
Christina Aguilera. Yeah,
Christina Aguilera, and then eventually like their reality shows would come on,
right.
like Cribs usually at that point in time.
Yeah, or like Pimp My Ride.
Pimp My Ride, I think that's on here. Yeah, there he is. There's
I like
Exhibit.
Pimp My Ride. That was fun. Was that with
Do you think?
Exhibit?
Yeah. Do you think Pimp My Ride was a lot like Bar Rescue, where just like these cars would just be undrivable?
Well, I don't even think, if I remember correctly, it wasn't about whether the car drove well or not. It was more just
There's
like, I want to get this guy laid.
right.
So we're gonna like deck this car like this 1990 like Chevy or something like that. We're gonna put the biggest speakers possible in this thing.
It's always just we're just removing you no longer have a trunk.
Right.
It's just where your speakers go.
Right. Yeah, like it was impractical. The cars became impractical and was like probably dangerous to drive anyway. But yeah, it was
I'm
like
re-
we're just gonna get this guy laid.
yeah. I'm reading on 3 occasions all season finales, the show did not pimp the original automobile. In the
There
final
you go.
episode of season 1, the car to be pimped was actually two halves of Ford Escorts welded together to make one car, a cut and shut job, and was declared
Awesome.
unsafe. The final episode of season 2, the participant was studying to be an auto mechanic, and WCC decided to let him pimp his car as a study project. In the final episode of season 5, Exhibit felt that the owner's car, Nissan Pulsar, was not worth fixing. Heat from the car's engine and battery fluid was leaking into the cab. I like how Exhibit made that call.
Right. Like, what is he?
Yeah.
Right.
In all these instances, the vehicle of the participant were replaced with brand new cars with extensive modifications made to customize. Looks like there is a drop down of claims of deception by participants.
That exactly. That's just like Bar Rescue, where one of my favorite pastime is looking to see if the bar is still open,
Yeah.
and 80% of the time it's not. I'm shutting it down. I still think we have to review an episode from Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all those shows, it's so phony.
Yeah. It's funny. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good list. Got some good S tiers.
Definitely.
And some good F tiers. All right. Well, that is our show. That's our tier list. Check us out on our socials at TikTam Pod, Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram. We're also on YouTube. Check us out there. They call it Smoothie. If you want to hit us up on Gmail, tictampod@gmail.com. Suggest a move to us. But the best place to get a hold of us is over there at that Patreon at patreon.com/tictampod, TCTAM pod. Exclusive episodes at the end of every month. And then your Discord, you could go on the Discord and talk to us about movies, TV, wrestling, all that kind of fun stuff. Participate in polls, all that good stuff happening over at patreon.com/tictampod and on our Discord. That's it. That's going to wrap us up. The directors freaked was Tom Stern and Alex Winter. So, for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony DeVecchio telling Tom Stern and Alex Winter, well, you certainly made a movie, didn't you?